everybody, how's it going? Jingle and Stuff here, and welcome to our very first episode of COLLABMAS! My name is Alec, and welcome to our multi-week season of holiday collaborations here on the channel. It's the holidays, man, we gotta be festive! I've done my fair share of holiday specials in the past, but this year, we're gonna be doing something just a little bit differently. We'll be talking about and playing holiday-related games all throughout the month of December, and in each episode, I'll be joined by a few friends of mine to help me do it. Anyways, to cut right to the chase, it's the giving season, right? So, to kick off COLLABMAS, this video is going to be for all of the parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, dogs, cats, anybody really walking into a video game store this year looking to buy a present for little old Billy Bob. These people need someone to tell them right from wrong, good from bad, super from superstars, and, you know, my mom. This video is for people like my mom. And of course, to make sure that I put together the best holiday gift guide there is out there on the internet, I called on this girl I know who's also probably a bit of a Nintendo fan, you could say.
Hi YouTube, I'm Nintendo Fangirl, and people who know me know I love Nintendo, obviously, but I also love the entire holiday season. Many of my favorite memories growing up, whether with friends or with family or by myself, involve Nintendo games, Nintendo consoles, and experiencing those kinds of things with other people. And I'd really love to help new fans make some of those memories for themselves.
Thanks for coming along, Sam. So, I'm gonna whip out my trusty pad of notes here. And to kick off, we're gonna start off with our must-buys. And these are games that we feel like are just absolute necessities for any new Switch owner. Starting with you. Take us away, Sam.
I'll kick off the list of favorites, and my first pick for a must-buy is a game that just came out a few months ago, and I have not been able to put it down. Splatoon 3. I think Splatoon as a series is great because depending on the player and just how you want to play, it can be super casual or super competitive. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. It has a pretty nice, though short, solo mode as well as online multiplayer and local multiplayer. If you are aware or haven't tried it yet, Splatoon 2 is also on the Switch, but Splatoon 3 has much improved lobby system, way better online play in my experience, and it has Salmon Run, which is one of the game modes available 24 hours a day, which it wasn't in Splatoon 2, and it's incredibly fun. I love Splatoon because it has like such quick and simple gameplay. You can pick it up and play a few games at the end of the day, or you can spend an entire day playing it. It's up to you. It's got really colorful, fun graphics, and the music it's so good. It's so good. A quick heads up, to play online, this is true for this game and pretty much all the games we'll be talking about with online multiplayer. If you want to play online, you do need a Nintendo Switch Online membership, and that is a separate paid membership, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. The other thing I want to say about Splatoon 3 is, as a game, it's still fairly young. It just came out a couple months ago, and so it's kind of still high on the priority list for Nintendo in terms of getting updates and having events. They have these events called Splatfests, which are so fun. Everyone rallies together to play for a weekend, and there's a new event type that's about to sprout up called Big Run, and Nintendo's already committed to having more free updates and more paid DLC as well. So this game has a lot of shelf life on it. It's a good time to pick it up.
Oh boy! What can I say about these games that hasn't been said already? Well, I mean, we all know what Pokemon is, right? I mean, at this point, there's already been tons of discussion online, both positive and negative. And heck, I even wrote an entire review for this over on Go Nintendo. There's so much you could say about each new generation of Pokemon games, but I'll just put it to you this way. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are some of the best games Game Freak has published for this franchise to date, like, of all time. Now, there's lots of reasons for why I think that is, some of which is story related, so I'll just go ahead and leave you with this. I genuinely haven't felt this engaged in a Pokemon game's narrative for quite some time, and the way that Scarlet and Violet kept me playing just so I could see what new Pokemon, what new character beats, or new region would come next both surprised and delighted me. I mean, in these new games, you've got new characters to meet, tons of charming Pokemon, like all those to discover, and it's all wrapped up in this just really beautiful new region of Paldea, which is even more so whenever you choose to explore it with friends, right? Because this game has co-op now, which is really, really cool. So after nearly 200 hours in this game as of recording this video, I'd say that this is certainly a title you don't want to miss, and is an absolute no-brainer for anybody who's anywhere near any sort of Pokemon fan. So definitely a must-buy, in my opinion.
This game took the world by storm in 2020, but if you haven't tried it yet, or if you have a loved one who wants to maybe start their own island, it's not too late. Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's the latest installment in the Animal Crossing series, and it sold like incredibly compared to some of the prior games. So you may have not even heard of Animal Crossing before New Horizons, but all the same, incredibly popular game for good reason. Animal Crossing is basically just a cute, cozy life sim where you live, in this case, on an island, and you're building it up over time with your own little neighborhood of villager friends that you're inviting. In my opinion, Animal Crossing games are always top-notch. It's one of my absolute favorite series. It's great for relaxing with. It's got really wonderful music and characters. There's just so much to do. It's so well executed. If you want a game that you can really relax with and play with anybody, this is the kind of game that fits the bill across the board. This one is actually my most played Switch game. I think I'm up to something like 600 hours on this, so if you're worried about like not getting good value for your money, you want to get some good hours in, it's very, very easy to get roped in to the island life with this one.
All right, look. Some of the games on this list, and many other lists like it, can tend to gravitate towards more recent games, but sometimes you just gotta throw it back to the old adage of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Which is exactly why Nintendo includes this game as part of their Black Friday deal 5 years in a row, 5 years running now. What can I say, right? I mean, it's Mario Kart. It's fantastic. The game originally released in 2014 for the Wii U, but with even more content in this version, and it is still getting added to with, like, you know, the Booster Course Pass and DLC, right? That's just barely halfway through rolling out at this point, and that's a lot of stuff to do. And for a brand new Switch owner, this is a must-have. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is great. It fits the holiday season perfectly because we're all, you know, at home celebrating the holidays together, right? And it's a great way to play with the family. It's just totally super accessible in that regard. And it's gonna keep you playing for years to come, at least, you know, if you're anything like me. So if you just got a Switch and don't already have this game, I would highly recommend racing to the store right now and fixing that problem ASAP.
Must buy, absolutely, no question, have to include Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, come on. If you aren't familiar with the Zelda series, it's a very long-running series, and Breath of the Wild came out alongside the Switch back in 2017, so it's been out for a while now. And Zelda games are pretty much always like a fantasy-based adventure game with like really heavy puzzle elements. So that's a big thing about Zelda, is it's about your environment and learning to work with it and solving essentially puzzles to get through it, but also some like sword-based combat. I think most people probably know what Zelda is, but that's in a nutshell, in a little bottle. Breath of the Wild is a little bit special because it is the first open world Zelda game. It's completely open world, it's massive, and it's beautiful. It's stunning. This one might not necessarily be considered an all ages game. It's not necessarily inappropriate, but it might be a little bit difficult for small children, so that's something to keep in mind. And now is the perfect time to pick up and play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because the highly anticipated sequel, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which we've been waiting for, us Zelda and us Breath of the Wild fans have been waiting for years at this point, comes out this upcoming May 2023. So perfect time, pick it up, play it, enjoy it, get ready for Tears of the Kingdom.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I love 3D Mario games, okay? One of the first games that I ever played that then went on to introduce me to the world of video games is Super Mario 64, much like many of you, I'm sure. One of my favorite games of all time is Super Mario Galaxy, and so whenever a new 3D Mario adventure rolls along, it goes without saying that my standards and expectations are pretty darn high. Then, in 2017, along came Super Mario Odyssey, which in the past 5 years has actually held up pretty well. I don't have any doubt that it will continue to do so either, because this game is really something special. Mixing a bit of the old with a bit of the new, Mario Odyssey is a wonderful 3D Mario experience from the beginning to end, and is entirely deserving of being the Mario game to have for new Switch owners. Level designs are fantastic, there's tons of hugely memorable worlds and kingdoms, and after playing this game again for the sake of this video, I'm reminded of how outstanding this game's soundtrack is as well. The Man in Red is slowly approaching his 40th anniversary in the next few years, and yet, it's games like this that serve to remind us all that Mario's still got it.
Rounding out our list of favorites, if I were asked to pick one multiplayer game, one that might be like really fun for a group of 2 to 4 players, maybe locally in a room together, like, I don't know, at a holiday gathering or something, but also good for online, I would pick Mario Party Superstars. I absolutely adore Mario Party Superstars. If you've never played a Mario Party game, just think Mario plus board games plus some like challenging mini games and just much chaos between friends and family, and even solo gameplay as well. Mario Party Superstars is kind of like the best of them all in that it does a really good job of pulling together mostly mini games from games 1 through 3 on the Nintendo 64, but also lots of newer ones. We're up to more than 10 Mario Party games, so there's plenty to choose from. There's over 100 mini games in this. But I think best of all about Mario Party Superstars is it also has really good online gameplay, so if you have friends from a distance that you want to play online with, that's an option. You can also play online with strangers. There's no stranger danger. You can only kind of communicate in stickers, so it's a really good option both for if you have people to play with and if you don't have people to play with. The other great thing that I want to mention about Mario Party Superstars is that there are modes other than the normal board game mode. So the board game mode could be a little lengthy at times. You don't want to sit down for 5 minutes in a board game mode, but there are options to play just mini games. You can like put up little challenges with friends and do some really quick multiplayer, maybe so that you can swap out between players and things like that. I personally love getting together with friends in like a Discord call and just going all out against them. It's consistently a blast. No 2 games are alike, so highly recommend. We could talk all day about our favorite games for Switch, but we want to include some budget-conscious options too. We're calling these our stocking stuffer picks. So basically gifts for Switch owners that aren't necessarily AAA $60 games. They aren't your typical game. They're not going to come up when you search best Nintendo Switch games on Google, but they are still really welcome gifts for any Switch owner, or Nintendo fan for that matter. And I think this first one is really important for all Switch owners. Alec, what's our first stocking stuffer?
Stocking stuffers, eh? Well, if we're thinking of these as little games or add-ons for your Switch, right, even that, then we gotta talk about Nintendo Switch Online at some point. But specifically, I'm gonna bring up the expansion pack upgrade for Switch Online. You see, in addition to all of the great benefits already included with Switch Online, the expansion pack adds on even more value via a growing library of N64 and Sega Genesis titles. I mean, they've got games like Pokemon Stadium, Mario Party 2, Mario Kart 64, and so many others, and obviously all the Sega Genesis titles that are listed here as well. But they've also got, in addition to all these great games, additional content or DLC for other games, right? Including new tracks for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that we already talked about earlier, because you're gonna go buy Mario Kart, right? You're listening to this list, aren't you? So, if you're buying for someone who's getting a new Switch this holiday season, I would highly recommend and consider the expansion pack upgrade for Nintendo Switch Online. It gives you all of the things that you need to play all of your games online, as well as a few extra goodies, in my opinion, for existing games and, all the other games we talked about. Plus, it also gives you a great excuse to show off some of your awesome Mario Kart 64 skills. At least for me.
We've talked a lot about video games, but remember there are a lot of accessories to consider also, especially for a new first-time Switch owner. One thing I really want to call out is a pack of tempered glass screen protectors. So, let me get the smudges off of this guy. You can't even tell it's there, right? There is a tempered glass screen protector on this. I highly recommend picking up a pack of these. They usually come in packs of 2 or 3 on Amazon, on all online retailers. They have them. They just help to protect your screen from scratches, especially if you're like putting it in a bag or anything like that. But also if you, and this happened to me, it's a thing that could happen. If you drop something on your screen, it'll hopefully crack the protector and not the screen itself. So I highly recommend grabbing these. They're not expensive. Just make sure when you're purchasing them for the right kind of system, because the Nintendo Switch Classic, the Nintendo Switch OLED, and the Nintendo Switch Lite all have slightly different size screens. And in the same vein, I also highly recommend picking up a case for a new Nintendo Switch. They come in a billion different sizes, a billion different designs. You can get like an Animal Crossing one, or a Pokemon one, or a Zelda one. Also, varying degrees of protection depending on what you're looking for. Again, make sure that you are buying one that fits the Switch system. Typically, Switch and Switch OLED systems can share a case, but Switch Lite cases tend to be smaller, and so you won't be able to fit a normal size Switch into a Switch Lite case. I'm pretty partial to Hori brand, that's Hori. They make really fantastic licensed cases and other kind of protective devices, but there's tons and tons of companies that make these things, and many of them knock it out of the park, so you could go kind of wild looking for whatever you want.
Now, we can't talk about the idea of stocking stuffers without bringing up another great option for those looking to stuff those stockings this holiday season, and that is the eShop gift card. Seriously though, these things are awesome, and they give your giftee, the person you're giving your gift to, the power to choose which games that they want to buy. Ah, the beauty of gift cards. So, this next portion of our stocking stuffer section covers just a few of those nice options that only the eShop can provide.
Kirby's Dream Buffet. This is another recent release, just came out a few months ago. This game is digital only, and it's only $15 in the eShop, so it's a nice little value. And for that $15, you get hours and hours of enjoyment. You get to roll Kirby around on lots of little race courses. You can earn costumes for Kirby. It's got online multiplayer that's really good. It's got local multiplayer that's really good, so you can set it up in a room and have 4 people race together. Everyone gets their own Joy-Cons. It's simple gameplay. Games take minutes, so there's no need to invest a lot of time in it, but also it's easy to lose hours into rolling Kirby down hills, so highly recommend this one. Look at him. How do you say no to this face? Come on.
Cult of the Lamb. This is a sweet little indie game in which you play as this cute little lamb, that's the name. It is also a roguelike mixed with a bit of Animal Crossing town building as well. This game is decently well paced and has tons of action sequences. Also a really fun town building mechanic that has you seeking followers to join your cults, and oh yeah, did I mention that the lamb also sacrifices its followers and eliminates terrifying monsters? Yeah, this game is probably a bit more fitting for an older audience, but hey, if that fits the demographic of who you're shopping for, then frankly, I think they'll have a blast. The roguelike systems at play are accessible enough for beginners like myself to hop in and feel comfortable in combat, which I really liked. When I played through this game earlier this year, I was just delighted at how funny it is that this game exists, right? It's cute, but it's also got a little bit of grunginess to it. The combat flows really well, and the encounters change up often enough to challenge you, but not as brutally so as other roguelikes, which I also really enjoyed. The character designs were fantastically adorable, and overall, it's just a fun game. Short? Maybe, but a solid experience all the way through. That said, I'd consider this game a solid stocking stuffer and a cult worthy of joining. I couldn't think of anything else, I'm sorry.
Stardew Valley's been around for a really long time on many systems, not just Switch, and it's considered one of just like the best farming games, the best cozy games around, and there's good reason why. It has a massive amount of content, so like you could be farming for years and still find new things, I'm telling you. And it's also just supremely well executed. It's a good farming sim across the board. It's cozy, but also super immersive, even despite the pretty like rough pixel graphics. you'll find yourself wanting to learn more about the people of Stardew Valley and not knowing why, but that's a good thing. And a lot of the appeal here is just that it's one of those games that's really well suited to the Switch. This kind of game is really fun to play on the go. You can pick it up when you're lying in bed or while you're sitting on the couch watching TV. At $15 on the eShop, to me, this is like complete no-brainer. You will get far more than $15 worth of value out of it. I actually also bought the physical copy that is available now, but this one is more expensive. So if you are not completely invested in it yet, I definitely recommend grabbing that one in the eShop. We're gonna move on to this next topic, which, you know, as much as we love talking about our favorite games, our favorite eShop games, they can't all be complete winners, right? They can't all be top of the list, and someone has to be at the bottom, unfortunately. Although Alec and I both, I know we don't like being negative, we don't like stinking on games. We can all only buy so many games. We can only invest our time into so many games. So you want to invest your time into a game you're really going to enjoy, right? You want to make sure you and the person you're buying for is going to be putting that time and money into the game, like the right game, not one that you're going to be disappointed in. So that said, Alec, if you and I were kids in the year 2022, which game would you be really disappointed to open up on Christmas morning?
All right. Let's talk about this for a second. Now, what I'm about to say may ruffle some feathers out there, but I want you to hear me out because, you know, I mean, we're all adults here, right? We're all capable of listening to our thoughts and opinions and feelings on things. Now, if I were to be in the position of being a young lad again in the year 2022, the Switch is doing amazingly well, and there are just so many great games and so many fantastic experiences to be had on this system at this point. If there was one game or games, plural, that would just absolutely squander any sort of holiday spirit I had in the year 2022, it would have to be practically any of the Mario sports games from this era at all, entirely. That being said, I'm going to lead by saying that not all of these games are bad per se, or actually, you know what? None of these games are bad per se, but I do think that there are plenty of other options for new Switch owners that can fill the needs that these games attempt to fill, just better, right? So, for example, looking for a great game to play with the family? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, no-brainer, duh, right? Looking for a good party game? Literally, Mario Party Superstars. It's in the name. It's the Mario Party, right? All jokes aside, there's nothing wrong with these titles at their core. I mean, they're great. They're fine as they are. It's just that they lack that something special, right? That made Mario sports games from the Wii and the GameCube eras just that they had that level of charm, you know what I mean? And maybe it has something to do with Nintendo's approach of release now and think about the DLC and extra expansions later. But hey, that's just my running theory of it at the moment. But regardless, whatever the case may be, these games are just not it. If you're looking to buy something for a new Switch owner or even an existing Switch owner this holiday season, I would recommend just going with something else, right? The games are fine, I guess, but as I said, there are just way better experiences to be had on the Switch these days, and if I was to pick anything, and from where I'm standing, right, if I was to pick any of these games in my mind to be my lump of coal for Christmas, it would have to be these games. And, you know, to be honest, if I was to wake up on Christmas morning, head to my stocking and find one of these in my stocking, I'm not even sure milk and cookies could fix that. Okay, well, hold on. I don't want to go that far because, you know, to be honest, milk and cookies are awesome, and, you know, maybe that would help a little.
I think many of us as kids have experienced receiving a gift that was almost what we wanted, but not quite what we wanted, and that can be really disappointing. The game that I'm dubbing a lump of coal is not necessarily a particularly bad game. In fact, I had a lot of fun with it when it came out, but it does completely pale in comparison to its more recent launch. And that game is Super Mario Party. Not to be confused with Mario Party Superstars, which we talked about earlier. Just to be blunt, this is the lesser of the two Switch Mario Party games. It has questionable choices in minigames, less classic gameplay style, and the online multiplayer is just not good. I mean, it didn't even exist until recently, and then now it does, and it's just not great. This was also created back early in Switch's days when Nintendo was being a little bit experimental and trying to utilize a lot of the Switch's capabilities, and some of those utilizations were just misses. A lot of those misses happened in this game, so I'm including this, calling it a lump of coal because, heed this warning, if somebody asks you for a game, and they say, for example, Mario Party Superstars, make sure you take note that they asked for Mario Party Superstars. Don't catch yourself accidentally going to the store, looking at the shelf and saying, oh, Mario Party, that's the one I wanted. And it's not just Mario Party that you have to keep this in mind for. There's multiple Mario games, there's multiple Splatoons, there's multiple Zelda games, there's multiple Sonic games. Just remember, when you're looking at the shelf, not all games are made equal, and some of them are not as good as others. Double check that you're grabbing the right one, and then everyone will be happy.
And that's about it. I hope this list was helpful for those that were looking for any ideas for brand new Switch owners this holiday season. Before we end this video though, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my friend Sam for joining me here today. She's awesome, and I'll go ahead and let her take it from here to let you know where you can find her on the internet.
Again, I'm Nintendo Fangirl. You can find me pretty much anywhere under the name Nintendo Fangirl, but mostly YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. Just search my name and I will most likely show up. I hope you all have the happiest holiday season and get some solid Nintendo gaming in. Bye!
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Sam. And to those of you who made it this far into the video, thank you as well. I hope you have a great holiday season, and also hope you're looking forward to the next episode of COLLABMAS dropping very, very soon. So drop a subscribe if you haven't, so you know when new uploads happen around here. And with all of that said, and without further ado, there's only one thing left to say before I take off, and that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff, jingling stuff during December, and I will see you all again in the next video. All right?
Hi there! Thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more, and hopefully we'll see each other again in the next video. Bye!